Hi folks, Stan here from Wealth Success Reviews, and you saw the title, Getting Straight A's with an Average IQ. This video is in response to a number of posts or comments that I've been having about the Complete Guide to Genius program that I have reviewed, and it has been probably the single most successful program that I have ever promoted. I have not had a single person tell me that they did not or were unable to increase their IQ. I've heard some incredible stories on great increases in IQ using this program. This is in response to one reader in particular who called himself anonymous, but he is he's a high school graduate, and he's taking pre-calc in the fall in college, and is concerned that with his average IQ of 100, that he might have difficulty, and will this program help him? And certainly you increase your IQ and it is going to be easier, and he's wondering how much he can expect over a couple of months to be able to increase his IQ. And with the program that he's set out for himself, certainly 20 to 30 points in the next month or two, this is what I would anticipate. I've seen much greater results, and occasionally I've seen lesser results. It usually depends upon the quality of the image streaming that one does, along with how well you adhere to the program. If you adhere to the program and do all the recommended things, 20 to 30 points easy, maybe a lot more, rarely less. And the thing is that there's other factors involved. While I highly recommend everyone take the Complete Guide to Intelligence, Complete Guide to Genius, excuse me, there are other things you can do. One of the problems that students have in college is that they've never learned how to study. We go through high school and grade school and high school, and they filled our minds with a bunch of worthless facts, and they've never taken out the time to teach us the things we need to learn to know how to study, how to learn. The whole school system is broken, and this is probably the most important thing you can learn, is to learn how to learn. And we don't teach that. We are teaching our students on the basis of the industrial age, where we're going to create a lot of robots for industry, and that model no longer exists, and the school system hasn't caught up, and we have unfortunately come up with these standardized tests that the classes teach to, so that the school can get its proper funds from the state or the federal government, because so much of their work now depends on how well their students do in these tests. So they're teaching to these tests. They're not teaching students how to learn or how to study, and as a result they get out of high school and get into college, and they have a hard time because they don't know how to learn. So I highly recommend, I've seen students that have an IQ of 100 get straight A's throughout college. And I've seen people with high IQs barely pass college. The difference being that one group has learned how to study, and the other group has not learned how to study properly. They've depended on their high IQ, and if you don't know how to study properly, it's going to be really difficult to get through college. Okay, what are my recommendations? Well, certainly speed reading is one of them. We're taught to read word by word. You can remember, see, spot, run, and you pointed to the word see, spot, run, and you verbalized it. And I can double your reading speed with one simple trick. Our problem is that we tend to verbalize. When we read something, we tend to speak each word with our lips, and we're constantly, you'll go to the library and watch people reading, and you'll see their mouth is constantly moving. So if you want to double your reading speed real quick, take a little speed reading test, and you'll probably discover that you're down around 250 words a minute. And you may have to reread things several times to really get the meaning, because that's so slow that you don't get the flow of the material. Take a pencil and put it in your mouth like this, and reread the same material. Take the same test, and you'll probably find out that you've doubled your reading speed because you're no longer verbalizing. Not only that, you increase your comprehension. Now, when I say speed reading, I'm talking about effective reading. My database has been updated. Okay, what I'm saying is that the reading speed needs to be appropriate to the material that you're reading. For example, as this student is going to take pre-calculus, his reading speed will probably drop down to 100. If he were to use effective reading techniques, he could probably get an effective reading speed of 200, understand more of the material, get more of the flow of the material, and have higher comprehension. And the same goes for, it really depends on the type of material you're reading, what your reading speed would be. Speed reading, they commonly advertise, read 2,000 words a minute, read 3,000 words a minute. That's not effective reading. But you can get up to, with nominally difficult material, 900 to 1,000 words a minute, and you'd be able to cover much more material in the given time. You only have so much time, and believe me, in college you spend an awful lot of time reading. And you need to make that reading time as effective as possible. There's many other things you can do. I would highly recommend that, if you don't have the money I'm going to mention a course that I think is very good, but I started studying accelerated learning methods way back when a book called Super Learning came out. I think it was in the 1970s, and it was based on the work of Georgi Lazanov, a Bulgarian super learning researcher, who at the peak of his training with students, he was able to teach complete comprehension of a language, become fluent speakers in a language in one day. 3,500 words of vocabulary in a single day using his super learning techniques. Some of the things that he did: darkened room, played Mozart in the background, repeated everything several times. Highly effective in testing. His students at the end of the day had 100% comprehension of the material, and 6 months later still maintained 65% comprehension of the material. So super learning techniques, you can get all kinds of books on accelerated learning and study techniques at your local library, or there's a book that I recommend online. Dr. Mark Dussault, who has been studying this for years and years and years, has put out the 3rd edition of his book, How to Get the Best Grades with the Least Amount of Work. And I went through this, and it comes with some nice bonuses, and it's quite a good text. And if you want to get good grades, you really need to learn how to study properly. And I can't recommend anything more highly than that. You don't have to buy this book. You can go down to the library. There's plenty of great books on study techniques. I happen to like this one by Dr. Dussault. And for speed reading, Masterman brought out a 1-hour audio on speed reading, which I found quite helpful, and it did improve my speed reading in 1 hour, in fact. And I every so often when I see myself slacking off, I'll pop that tape back in and go through the material again. But the main thing is that you don't need to have an IQ of 150, 160 to get straight A's. You could do it if you know the study techniques. If you practice proper study techniques, you can do it with a very normal IQ. It just depends on using proper study techniques. All right, I'll mention if you're viewing this on YouTube, you'll have to stop by wealthsuccessreviews.com. If you're viewing this on my website, down below this video, I'll have some links for programs that I recommend. A couple of programs, certainly the Complete Guide to Genius. And, I've checked out a number of other programs. Recently checked out one, forgotten the name of her already. I just checked it out yesterday. I think it was called Roadmap to Genius. Oh my God, was that poor quality. I've looked at any number of programs claiming to, help you raise your IQ, and the one that I have found, the only one that I have found to be truly effective, is the Complete Guide to Genius. And this study guide that Dr. DeSalt put out, how to get the best grades with the least amount of work, I find to be excellent. And I also found this, it's really inexpensive, this 1-hour audio by Masterman on speed reading, and I think you'll find it really helpful. Anyway, if you want to get good grades, learn how to study. You don't have to just increase your IQ. Certainly a high IQ helps, but as much as that helps, it'll help even more if you know how to study. And that's all for now. Hey, Anonymous, I hope you have straight A's this fall in college. And, do go down to your local library, get some books on study techniques, or if it's reasonably inexpensive, this program that I mentioned, How to Get the Best Grades from DeSalt, is excellent. And certainly speed reading. I don't really call it speed reading. I call it effective reading. And it will help. The more material you can cover. And here's just a couple of quick tips. Keep your study sessions down to about 20 minutes. That is about how long you can effectively concentrate on something. And then give yourself a 5-minute break, and then go back to studying again. And when I study, when I read anything now, I typically play some brainwave entrainment. I used to play Mozart, but now I listen to some deep study brainwave entrainment audios, because they do help. And, hey, I hope you get all straight A's. And, if you study properly, you can do it. You can do it. It's just a matter of proper study techniques. Certainly the extra IQ is going to help, but if you don't study properly, it's not going to work. All right, bye for now. Have a great semester, Anonymous, and I look forward to hearing the results of your first semester in college. Let me know what's going on and how you're making out. Bye for now.